Welcome back to the Love What's Real series. My name is Jenn Fillenworth, chef and registered dietitian. Today I am here at Michigan Dairy, owned by Kroger. We're going to find out all about cottage cheese today, and it's one of my favorite things to cook with, so I'm super excited to learn how it's made. So let's go inside and check it out. We're inside of Michigan Dairy, and I'm here with Regina, who is the site leader here. Regina, thank you so much for having us here today.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm very excited to show you how we make cottage cheese.
Now, I've been on a lot of Michigan dairy farms. I've had a lot of Michigan dairy products. I personally think they're the best, but how do you feel about the quality of Michigan milk?
Michigan milk always wins quality awards year after year. The milk quality from Michigan farmers is truly one of the best. One of the many reasons our products are so good is because Michigan farmers take such good care of their animals and the environment. They're great stewards of sustainability and the environment, and their milk is just that much better.
Yes, absolutely superior. It's one of my favorite cottage cheese brands to personally buy, so I would love to see how it's made.
Well, I'm very excited to have my team show you how we make it. It's a very old school process. We do it the same way they've done it for a very long time, and I'm very happy to have my team explain to you what we do from start to finish.
Yeah, so let's take a look at that. We have all this wonderful Michigan milk that's coming into Michigan Dairy, and Keith is here to talk about how he really starts off the process, because you are basically the rock star of the operation, right? It starts with you.
So what we do is we basically bring up milk from a raw storage tank downstairs. Then we separate the milk and the cream to produce skim. It sits in another storage tank until the cheese setter get ready to use it.
Now, we've talked a little bit about that skim milk tank, but I notice when I'm in the grocery store, sometimes there's 2% cottage cheese, sometimes there's 4%. How do you achieve those different values there?
We take a combination of raw cream or skim, blend it together and make various fats of the cottage cheese. So whatever it calls for that day, that blend of milk get put together, and that's what we blend out.
So we were just talking with Keith about his role in the whole cottage cheese process. Now, Jack, you have some pretty cool things to say about what you do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we start off with skim, then we start filling our vats, and then the first 800 gallons we put the culture in, and then we wait about 4,100 gallons to put in our coagulant, and then it's pretty much done for the day.
Very cool. So you're just adding that culture, and that helps the process where you start to get those curds and whey?
We started the first process, and then after that, it's hourly check on your pH, and then usually it's about 5 hours into it that it starts to thicken up.
Okay, so that's where your experience comes in and knowing what to look for and adjusting.
Yes, it's set up with the knives. There's a small curd knife, there's a large curd knife. And basically what it is, the vat is like 35 feet long and about 8 feet wide, and we'll have 2 sets of knives. And then there's a catapult that'll go from one end to the other. And basically, you'll hook the knives in, you'll hit the button, and it'll start sending it down to the other end. And then as you get down the other end, you pull the knives out, and then you start cross-cutting a handheld cross-cutter.
So now we've seen some of the previous steps, and we're moving into the most exciting part, I think, the cooking process. So Seymour is going to talk a little bit about how he does that. Tell us a little bit about how we start to really form this cottage cheese.
Well, first, once Jack is done setting, I'll start my cookers and my paddles, and then I'll begin the first cook. It's 3 cooks. Once the first cook is done, I'll start the second cook. And after that's done, I'll start the third cook. But the third cook is more of a detailed process because it takes longer. It's the most important cook. You have to make sure it's firm enough. Once you check it for firmness, and then after that, you add water to the vat and drain the vat.
So we're still here in the cheese vat room, and I'm with Alec, and Alec is going to talk to us a little bit about what he does. So Alec, we've seen the cheese curd come together, it's formed. What happens next?
Well, next is we do our 3 rinses. First rinse takes about half hour, second rinse, same thing. Third rinse, half hour. After the third rinse, I'm going to begin to finalize the vat, which I'm moving all the curd to one side of the vat. That way it has a valley for the water to get out. Once it is fully drained, I am then going to ditch the vat, which I'm splitting the curd up from one side to the other. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes for that vat to be fully drained out. And we have a cup system that's the size of a cottage cheese cup. Put the cup down underneath the drain. We are supposed to wait 20 to 25 minutes. We have to count to 20 seconds. If the water fills up that cup before 20 seconds, the vat is not drained yet of water. Once that vat is drained of water, we're going to even the vat out, and then it is ready to be creamed.
So then after you finish that, where are we heading next?
Next, we are beginning to cream the vat. So usually, I start off with about 500 gallons. We put the 500 gallons on, cream it, mix it. As soon as the vat starts to mix, we were supposed to wait a half an hour until you begin to add cream to the vat. So I'll add my 500 gallons, I'll wait my half hour, and then I'll look at the curd and the cream and see how much curd I have on the top of the vat, and that'll tell me how much cream to put on it. If I'm seeing too much curd, I know there's not enough cream on the vat.
Now we were just talking with Alec, and moving on to the process is Skip. So he's gonna tell us a little bit about what comes next.
After the vats are made, we hook it up to a pump. The pump take the cheese from the vat room into the hopper. The hopper is a holding cell for cheese. You got a probe in there, it's a level. You pump it out into the pistons. The pistons pump it into the cup. The cup runs, you got a mylar, which is a seal. It seals it up. Then the heater come down on top of the mylar, then it cuts, then the lid come on it. After that, check the weights every 20 minutes. Then they go through a weight detector, a metal detector, code date. After the code date, it goes to an automatic picker. Automatic picker, pick it up, put it in the case, and then it goes in the cooler. After it goes in the cooler, it's stored there until we ship it to the stores.
So explain to me that code that's on the packaging that you're looking for.
The code is the expiration date. Has my initials on it, what vat I'm coming out of. Just in case if something's wrong with it, we could pinpoint what time I ran it, what vat it came from.
We've just taken the whole tour to see how cottage cheese is made. It's a pretty lengthy process, but I think it's gonna be worth it. Definitely worth it. Thanks for joining us on Love What's Real.